Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood game master Zach Hall here, back from the dead. I think it's been probably a year since I published a video to my YouTube channel. Lots been happening in life for me. I'm not going to explain myself, but here's a new video. Hooray! As you probably know from the title of this video, I'm going to be creating a Star Trek adventure character, a PC, to play in a next generation era game of Star Trek Adventures. And I've got pulled up here the Star Trek Adventures core rulebook. I've got it, the PDF. We're just going to be looking at character creation. I've already done a video of me kind of doing a read through of Star Trek Adventures. Not the entire thing, but I've kind of walked through and like just read the PDFs somewhere else on my channel. I'll post a link to that video on in the doobie-doo below. So if you are interested in Star Trek Adventures and you found this video hoping to kind of get like a full-blown introduction, that video is probably going to be a better look. I've signed up to play in a Star Trek Adventures little mini campaign through Start Playing Games. I'm going to be this is me creating the character that I would like to use. Now, this might not actually end up being what I what I play. Our session 0 is later. Haven't spoken to the GM quite yet, though I do have their basic guidelines for what's allowed and what's not. I'm going to be playing, this is kind of my ideal, or at least my like first draft, but things might change. Like if I want to create a like chief of engineer, that like, or like that kind of specialist type, and somebody else in the game already wants to do that, I'm super flexible. But for content, here's me here's me creating the PC for my first ever Star Trek Adventures game. And then up here, just above my head, is the Star Trek Adventures Modifius app that's freely available from Modifius, the publisher of the Star Trek Adventures games. We're going to use this during character creation. I've got both it and the PDF pulled up because I don't believe it actually like tells you exactly what you need to do. It just kind of gives you options. So we're going to double check our work with the PDF and the character creation app. So let's just jump straight to, let's see if it'll let me click in the I love the layout of this book. It's so good. It's just really, really great. It's really designed well. It's not printer friendly, I can tell you that much. Not great if you wanted to like print off your own version from the PDF. I probably would be almost as expensive if just buying the hardback yourself. So we're gonna go to chapter 5. Reporting for duty is character creation. So we are playing in. I'm gonna be playing in the next generation era. So that's mid 24th century. This is obviously next generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and I do believe most games that play in the kind of like post DS9, maybe immediately after the post Voyager era, still play in TNG era. I don't think well, in Star Trek canon anyway, there is not a really post Voyager era until the Picard era, and I don't think Modifius has put out any stuff. I've been away for a while, so it's very possible that in the what I guess probably been almost 5 years that Picard has been out, that Modifius has created like an official supplement for the Picard era. So I'm going to be creating a PC. So we have traits. Character will typically have one or more traits, one of which will always be the character's species. Traits are essentially descriptions of important parts of the character in a single word or short phrase. These sit alongside a character's values, which cover the character's personality, motivations, and beliefs. Traits help define what the character is and what they can do. They can be employed the same way as traits for a location or situation, such as increasing or reducing the difficulty of tasks. So the first thing, well, let's just jump. Okay, here's just kind of so we've got our character attributes. We got control, daring, fitness, insight, presence, and reason. Then we have disciplines. Each character is trained in 6 disciplines, which encompass broad roles that Star Trek officers are expected to be proficient in. They're rated 0 to 5. All main characters have at least a 1 in every discipline, because Starfleet provides extensive training, expects its officers to have at least basic proficiency in every discipline. But if you look at this table here, basic training is 1, professional competence 2, 3 is experienced and well trained, 4 is excellence within the field, 5 is exceptional, often a combination of intense training, hard-won experience, and natural aptitude. And then the 6 disciplines are command, con, engineering, security, science, and medicine. So when rolling for dice skill checks in Star Trek Adventures, the GM will usually ask for a combination of an attribute and a discipline. You can have a command insight or a command presence, that kind of stuff, which I love. I love that ability to mix and match. It both gives GMs the permission to target something specific that a character is really good at, and it can become kind of a negotiation or conversation between the player and the GM too, of like, hey, if I explain to you that I'm going about it this way, I would love to target this attribute. Like, you've said it's command, but can I kind of go about it this way so that I can use my daring attribute instead of one of the others that I might not be as good at. I think it's a really great mechanic. I'm sure it's not unique to Modiphius's 2d20, but it's the one I am aware of. I think it's great. You have focuses. Main characters will have 6 focuses, and they're encouraged to create their own. Focuses should be narrower than the 6 disciplines, but they shouldn't be so narrow as to never come up and play. So we've got things like anthropology, cybernetics, emergency medicine, hand-to-hand combat, etc. Then talents are additional benefits, define areas of speciality, advantages of their personal approach to circumstances. They normally take in the form of a bonus. So we're going to go through life path creation. Okay, cool. Here's our start. So at the start of a life path, character will have a score of 7 in each attribute, a score of 1 in each discipline. Throughout the process, the character will gain an additional 14 points spread across their attributes and an additional 10 points spread across their disciplines. Additionally, during the process, a character will receive a minimum of 1 trait, as well as 4 values, 4 talents, and 6 focuses. So the first thing we need to do is pick species, which we can do in the character creation app, because there are races available that are not in the core rulebook that I kind of want to check out. So I'm going to keep to core. I'm going to add the alpha quadrant. I'm going to add all the divisions, so I don't think those add necessarily anything to species. And then I'm going to add T and G. I don't know if these are like the specific characters of these bits. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm not going to turn on Voyager. Voyager is my favorite show, but I don't want to necessarily play one of the specific species found in that show. Next gen, Starfleet personnel. I guess I could roll. Here's the tough. I'm not gonna roll. I'm gonna pick. But man, so I'm not gonna know several of these just like off the top of my head. So I might have to Google search. I'm that boring person that enjoys playing humans, and I think it's because I have an easier time getting into the character and like kind of visualizing, especially with something like the life path character creation option in STA. I just have a better idea of what a human character would be. Now I'm gonna stick to human, even though there's probably plenty of people in the comments who would say that's incredibly boring. Apologies, but I'm going to stick to human with the knowledge that if I show up to session 0 and there's 3 other players and everybody has picked human, that I'm game to change. I'm not really torn. I'm not super crazy about doing human, but I do have an easier time kind of picturing my character as a human. I don't think there's any that I really like. I don't want to play a Jem'Hadar. I don't want to play a Klingon. I don't know who the Katarians are. I don't know if I want to play a Romulan. Soong type androids and holograms I know are sometimes also available. Maybe it's in a core that I didn't pick. Those are kind of exactly what kind of character you're going to be when you pick those. I don't want to do that. Now, Tellarite could be interesting. Star Trek is one of those that I know casually. I grew up on Next Generation and Voyager. I've gone back and watched Deep Space Nine and enjoyed it a ton, but I'm not a crazy Trekkie that knows the canon of the universe so well. While I know all of his, like, the big ones really well, Vulcan, Romulan, Klingon, Ferengi, Cardassian, Borg, Beta Z, Bajoran, Andorians to a smaller bit, but like some of these I do not know off the top of my head, like, or I recognize the name, but I wouldn't really know culturally, like socially, how to play that character. So I think I'm just going to stick to human. All right, and then coming over to our, these will be increased during the character's life path. Finished character cannot have more than 12 in any attribute, may only have one attribute at 12, cannot have more than 5 in any discipline, and may only have one discipline with a score of 5. You can fix it later, basically. Choosing a species. Each species lists 3 attributes. Add 1 to each listed attribute. Then the character gains a single trait from that character's chosen species that reflects quirks, strengths, and weaknesses. Each species entry provides a few examples of how that trait might impact situations. And then the character gains a single talent. Can be choose freely from any that are available to the character. Main talent list begins on 135. To create mixed heritage, choose 2 species, one of which will be the primary. Character is treated as a member of the primary species for attribute bonuses. We'll just stick to humans for right now. Human, instead of the normal attribute options, I can choose any 3 and add 1 to them. I am right now thinking about playing a mainly reason, a smarty boy. A smarty boy. I'm trying to think of kind of like, who am I? What kind of character do I have something specific in mind? And I don't necessarily. But I want to play someone smart or someone with a high reason. I do kind of want to play someone with a high presence. And am I going all am I going all internal and not doing any of the external? These will get boosted later. And here I'm going to go, trait for human. You just get the human trait, adaptable and resilient, resolve and ambition often allow them to resist great hardship. However, humans can also be reckless and stubborn, irrational, and unpredictable. I have no idea. Couldn't be me. Talent, I get, receives access to the following traits. I get the resolute talent. I am indomitable and unwilling to succumb to adversity, so I increase my maximum stress by 3. In spirit of discovery, I have the drive, spirit, and courage to voyage into the unknown. I can spend 1 determination to add 3 points to the group's momentum pool. Normal conditions for spending determination still apply. So I guess I guess those are the talents I would get, right? Spirit of discovery and resolute. Oh, I pick 1. I get options of those 2. I'm gonna go spirit of discovery. Environment. Regardless of their species, Starfleet officers come from many places, across many worlds. While many humans are born on Earth, there are many more who are born on a colonized world somewhere else in the galaxy or on a starbase or starship. Ooh, I think I like the idea of being on a starship or starbase. Maybe I really lean into like a child of a family of Starfleet officers, grew up on a Starfleet starbase. Chip on my shoulder, something to prove, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Yeah, let's do that. Starship or starbase. Grew up in space, traveling aboard a starship or living abroad. Whilst they're unlikely to have lived on a Starfleet vessel. Well, maybe. Or did I grow up on maybe a civilian vessel and something happened and I joined Starfleet? Or maybe, no, I'm going to say I grew up on a starbase. Like one of the deep space starbases, a parent or both parents were in Starfleet. So I grew up around them, but there were civilians on the base too, exposed to a lot of worlds, a lot of cultures. I think that's kind of what I want to go to. So I'm going to add insight here. I'm going to go to con. Shoot. I need to remind myself exactly what con. Piloting aircraft of all sizes. Do I really want to? I don't think I was aiming to do navigation, but do I want to? Grew up on a starbase, ships of all sizes and all kinds coming in and out, maybe created this like natural fascination. Okay, that could be cool. A high, like super intelligent, I could go that way. I think I could. Let's go. So I am going to up my control because control is going to be pretty important. General flight. Then a value. Scroll back to, I wonder if they have any examples. Wasn't a busy colony. It was a starship or starbase. Signify should reflect the environment and culture the character was raised in. It's a good opportunity to consider how the character views their own culture. I'm not great at coming up. So I think the value that my character would have pulled from growing up on a busy starbase is that exposure, right? Or is it like a place in the stars? That would be kind of like, my place is with the stars. I think I think that works. Of just like, he grew up on a starbase, obviously like was on ships occasionally. I don't think he would want to have like a permanent posting. He would absolutely want to be out and about doing these things. That might be too generic, but we'll go with that for now. And if I need to come back to it and change it, I can. So upbringing. So I love this just in general for any kind of like life plan creation stuff, of like the differences of your species, where you grew up, and then how you grew up. All those three being separate. So this was definitely grew up Starfleet. For sure. For sure. I accept my upbringing. I love this option too of like, okay, you grew up this way, but are you rebelling against it? I am accepting my upbringing. Pick a discipline. Do I go con here too? Or do I go command? I was initially leaning science or engineering, but now that we're going con, maybe I just max, like, I think I go con. And I think I'm gonna make either command or engineering. I don't really want to play a security officer. Don't really. So then I get a single talent from this list. I don't want bold command. Bold con. Whenever you attempt a task with con and you buy one or more d20s by adding to threat, I can re-roll a single d20. Okay. Bold might be good. Cautious. Oh, cautious would be better because that's just whenever you get a d20 by spending momentum as opposed to adding the threat. I think I'd rather do cautious. I'd like to take collaboration at some point. Covering advance. A success at any helm task means 2 momentum can be spent to block a single enemy vessel within medium range, plus 1 additional enemy vessel for each additional momentum spent beyond that, repeatable. That's an actual move for con, which is cool. Dauntless, maybe. Efficient evasion would be another good one. Flyby. Whenever you use the swift task momentum spend, you do not increase the difficulty of the second task. Inertia would be cool. Multitasking con. I don't want a cybernetic device implanted in my brain. Don't really want to up my personal effects at this point. Don't really want resolute necessarily. Starship expert. Now that fits exactly into kind of the backstory character I was thinking about. Whenever you succeed at a con task to identify a type of starship or try to understand an unknown type of starship, you gain 1 bonus momentum, which may only be used on the obtained information momentum spend. Dang, I can't. Oof. Whenever you attempt a task assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, you may. Short list of talents that I want to get. I want to get technical expertise and I want to get starship expert. I think I just in general have to go cautious con here just for the basics. Being able to re-roll a d20 anytime that I buy a d20 with momentum is, so we're going to stick there. My focus is going to be, do I go ahead and add a like starship recognition? But I'm going to pull up off to the side here. It won't be on screen. I'm going to pull up Star Trek Adventures focus list because I'm sure that there is a community created list because I don't want to sit here. I guess I could go specific on a starship class. Starfleet history wouldn't be bad. Shuttlecraft operations, civilian starships, starship propulsion systems, weapon systems, no. Really, I guess con is covering the actual piloting of the starship, right? So I need a focus that's more than just the actual piloting. I could say shuttlecraft operations, though that doesn't excite me. I'm gonna go starship tactics, maybe? Or do I just go something kind of like silly? I don't know. I don't really want silly. It's a short campaign. If this was like a kind of ongoing campaign, I might be willing to kind of like spend some character resources on non-mechanical stuff. But I think adding something like flight control systems just makes the most sense to me. Or do I go navigation, like interstellar navigation or astro navigation? I think if I go astro navigation, cover the basics of both like being able to plot courses, but also being able to fly. I think that'd be good. All right, Starfleet Academy. Yep, takes 4 years. I'm gonna say I did it probably at San Francisco. And if I'm flying, I would be a Starfleet officer. I think. I don't think I would go enlisted. I don't think you could be. Could you be enlisted and still fly? Because I kind of like the idea of being. No, with the background I've been thinking of, I'd be officer track for sure, and it would be command track, I guess, or ship operations. I think these might be from some supplements that I haven't fully read. Crap. Do I need to research? I need to research. Ops. How do I... this might not be what it was. I don't... Okay. So I'm not sure where that came from. Stick to this. Ship operations or command track. I think in general, I'm just going to go command track. I don't know. I've been talking that con would be, or command might be my backup. Maybe this guy... my character might just be kind of think of himself. We wouldn't be the first. He wouldn't be the first Star Trek character to think he's all that. A little cocky, maybe. So taking the command track, focuses on leadership and interpersonal skills, diplomacy, decision making, understanding protocol procedures, starship operations, which includes flight control. Many command track cadets begin their careers as flight control officers and pilots, where their training can be put to the test on a smaller scale, while they gain the experience necessary for more authority and responsibility. Okay, that's pretty much what I want. Con's already up at 11. I'm guessing I can split it between 2 or 3, so I can add a +2 to 1. But I think I'm gonna spread out. I need my daring up. I need my reason up, and I'll up my control. Sure, is 12 the max? 12 might be the max. I'm gonna let's kind of guess that I'm early in my career, and I really focused on the con, less on the command, which is kind of why I didn't up my presence or my insight. And I think I'm gonna up my con. Oh, con's now at 5, so that's max out my con. So I might have to readjust later. So then I'm going to add 1 to command. And would astro navigation would that be science? Should I go science instead of engineering? Or do I kind of cover my general basis with engineering? Being able to like fix con module, like fix stations and stuff like that. I think I got to go engineering. I think that just makes the most sense. I'm getting pretty narrow. I think it makes the most sense. Okay, I'm gonna go helm operations, evasive action, and I think Starfleet protocols. I think that leans in really well to my backstory of having like multiple parents in Starfleet. I would have known it. I would believe in it. I think this guy's ride or die Starfleet has young enough to maybe sheltered in the starbase from drama and mistakes Starfleet made. I think that makes the most sense. Do I get another? Ooh, do I take attack pattern? Attack run? Do I think there's going to be combat, or should I? Pathfinder might be good. Precise evasion, precision maneuvering. Ooh, push the limits. That's what we want. When you attempt a con task that has increased in difficulty due to environmental conditions or damage to the engines, reduce the difficulty of 1. Reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 1. I think I won't push the limits. A value that developed during their time at the academy. Now, this is an internal value, does not have to be something that is true, just something that is strongly believed. And I'm leaning into something about by the book saves lives or something like that. That's my first thing that popped in my head. Going by the book saves lives. I like this idea of like this incredible, like this very strict rule follower. I'm like, as I'm thinking, this character is becoming more whole in my head, and the picture I have in my mind now is rule follower who like doing it by the book saves lives. I kind of thought about it. It popped in my head. I said it out loud, and it did really kind of lock in something strong about how this character behaves that I think I like. Not like it's a problem, obviously. Like meta-wise, very rarely does doing something by the book. Well, I guess it's your point of view. Oftentimes you have to not go by the book in order to save the most lives, to break the rules in order to do the right thing. But oftentimes people do get lost in those moments. And I think this could be something really cool. By the book saves lives. Really strong. Immediately tells you something about this character, what they believe, and how they're going to behave. At this stage, you have a choice to make about the character. This decision is a clear one. Are you a young officer with your whole career view? Have you served in Starfleet for several years, or are you a veteran with decades of experience? I think I go experienced, not veteran. I don't think a young officer would be put at the helm. I think I want that, like, maybe lieutenant junior grade, maybe just made lieutenant, experienced officer. Another value chosen freely from my several years of experience in service of Starfleet. Let's scroll ahead, see if the book has any. Young officers are defined more by their potential than their skill. Raw talent and their expectations of what the universe is like have not yet been tempered by reality. Okay, maybe I am a young officer. Get a value that reflects the character's inexperience and naivete, and then I get the untapped potential talent. Oh, that locks me to just 11 or 4. Nope. I'm going to stick with experienced officer. In the example, they talk about like the value being seen too much to be surprised. I don't love that for my character. Maybe something of like, what about knowing the limits? What if he's a rule follower by the book, but he knows a hard line? He's not going to cross the line right now, like at the start. He's not going to cross the line. He knows. I was thinking more about pushing the ship to its limits, but I don't think that's a value. I think that's a talent or something just kind of created in the fiction of the game. That's not a value. So we have a guy who believes his place is out among the stars. He has a focus that includes Starfleet protocol and a value that going by the book saves lives. Dang. I've got to think on this. Some time has passed. I'm thinking about it. I think this character inherently trusts anybody in a Starfleet uniform. Maybe that's misplaced, but I like the two sides of it. Similar to going by the book saves lives. There's two sides to both. I love that this means this guy's going to follow a direct order from one of his superiors. Maybe he internally questions it, but he would never. Or maybe he doesn't internally question it. Okay, well, this is an order by my commanding officer. He must know something more than I don't. So I have to. I'm going to follow his orders immediately. But then it also creates this opportunity for someone in uniform to potentially take advantage of that, or my character would not recognize someone behaving inappropriately. Like, as long as someone was technically following protocol and had the uniform, like it wouldn't even enter into his brain that they were doing something necessarily wrong. Something more than Starfleet is my family, because I think he still has his family back on a starbase somewhere. I think he's young enough in his career where his parents are not retired. They're still going. So then it's a question of how do I say, and it's not respect, it's trust. The uniform demands trust. No, it's just implicit trust in the uniform. Or do I go like trust is assumed? It was assumed until otherwise. Trust is assumed until betrayed. Is too dramatic. Betrayed's too dramatic. Trust is assumed implicitly. Is that the word that no, wouldn't be implicitly. Wrong word. I kind of like unshaking like faith as opposed to trust. Just seems messier on the outside. Shaking faith in would be shipmates. Unshaking faith, man, I'm struggling here. I kind of know what I want to say or what I'm chasing, but I'm having trouble putting it in like the value words. I wonder if there's also Googling a list of values. Okay, I'm looking through some lists just to get some ideas. I was kind of looking for something that would put words to the kind of trust/faith in Starfleet that I've been kind of rolling around. I'm seeing every problem has a solution. I like that a lot. Friends in high places. I don't think that's really a value, but I kind of like it. I think that definitely fits the Starfleet is my family is kind of says what I'm looking for, but really looking at the rules are the rules. I already kind of got that. Prefers to fly solo, and not really. I'm still looking through some example values to see what other people have come up with. Looking at this article on continuing mission sta.com, it seems been kind of the community house and blog for Star Trek Adventures. They've got a article there, 4 tips to create values that actually matter in Star Trek Adventures. They need, without strong, clear, and opposable values, it's really hard to grant determination when players claimed to challenge them. Okay. Had to step away, think about this value for a little bit. Maybe I'm taking this way too seriously, but did a little bit more reading on suggestions on how to craft a good value. Modifius has a good dev blog about values. There's a article on continuing missions, sta.com, about creating values. I liked the intention more than the actual writing continuing mission post, but at the end of the day, what I realized is that I was too focused on one aspect of the character, which is that he's Starfleet to his core, that he does believe a set process, that going by the book does save lives. I was too close to that with the like trust thing. I think that's something I can RP, that it's kind of comes out of that going by the book thing, but I wanted to create a value that would occasionally force me into action, as opposed to potentially like the other value of going by the book probably is going to keep me from action if I stick to that value. I wanted to create like that value of going by the book might be one that gets tested in game. I wanted to create one though that I don't think would be tested, but is one that is going to force me into action. So I've gone with gonna get a maneuver named after me. I think it creates this a certain amount of momentum behind my character of like something that he is chasing. I think it matches well, like mechanically, that he's very good maneuvering ships, that his focuses are all towards this thing. And it gives him a goal that is going to make him do things that might create problems in game. And I don't think it's bad that this value might occasionally be in direct opposition to going by the book. I think this probably supersedes. I think this is probably a blind spot for my character, that he goes by the book. He's going to follow his commanding officer's orders. But when given the opportunity to, take evasive action or try to get his ship out of a tough spot, combat, environmental, what have you, he's going to try something that hasn't been tried before, and he hopes that it comes off well, and he's not going to put anybody's lives in danger, but he is going to try to get a maneuver named after him. I think this is kind of ideal. So then we get a talent. So Pathfinder looks really cool and kind of leans into that astro navigation, but I don't think that's what I want to get a talent in. I think precise maneuvering is what I want to go. I think that even lines up with the value I just created. Reduces the difficulty of the task by 1 to a minimum of 0 when attempting a task that requires precise maneuvering or where there is a collision risk. I think this falls right into kind of what I'm leaning towards. So I like that more than the strafing run or evasive maneuvers. I think I can get some real mileage out of precision maneuvering. All right, so we then have a career event. Character's career is a tapestry of events and experiences, but amongst these, a few will have been pivotal in the character's life. Character defines which moments of their life are important in retrospect, and what seemed definitive to an ensign in the early 20s may be inconsequential to the same officer decades later. This is defined as 2 identical steps. The player rolls or chooses a career event from the following list, gains whatever benefit it provides, and then repeats the process, giving the character 2 definitive career events. Each career event increases 1 attribute and 1 discipline and gives the character 1 additional focus. It'll be listed. Suggestions for focuses will be listed in the entry for each career event. Some career events also grant the character the option of a trait to reflect some major lasting impact on the character's life. These are not compulsory. I am going to select a career event. Here's a quick list. This looks like the same. Required to take command on the short list. Serious injury. Mentored is definitely on the short list. New battle strategies on the short list. So I like the idea of mentor. Like the hard part is that the character I have created still has been in Starfleet for a little bit, He's not young. He's not brand new. Not fresh out of the academy. But he still has this undying loyalty and belief inherent to Starfleet. So he can't have gone through something that would have made him question that. And like that's I kind of knew I was backing myself into this corner, but that's kind of what I'm chasing down. So I'm gonna go. I do this twice. I'm gonna go mentored. I'm going to I like served as a pilot. I think increased daring here. Oh, this would have increased con, but it's already at max. So should I go back? Ooh, I don't know if I can go back. We'll see what happens. I think I get to fix this in a later step. So I'm gonna keep going with mentored. Any focus reflecting the officer's specialities would be fitting. Okay, so this is a focus. I was thinking value. This is just a focus. What's something? I wonder. It'd be cool if he got to sit in kind of like a command level, like a captain of some kind, and got to kind of, or he could have trained with someone from another culture. I don't know if I want to like necessarily lean into diplomacy. I don't think that's necessarily. Linguistics just seems like kind of covering too many bases. You know what I mean? I've already got helm operations. Do I go improvisation? I'm looking at a list of focuses. This is on the list I'm looking at is on the Star Trek Adventures subreddit. There's a poker is on that list, and I kind of love that, but I'm not gonna do that quite yet. You know what I haven't done is like done a focus on like not like small craft. So I'm gonna put small craft here. Maybe I spent a summer or whatever being like basically like flying ships or like a captain's vessel or a shuttlecraft. Then I get to pick another one. Required to take command would be cool. Special commendation feels real. Engineering crisis could be cool. I don't want to be recruited by Starship or Starfleet Intelligence. Long campaign, maybe. I think we're gonna go required to take command. And my focus, I mean, command kind of covers improvisation. This would be kind of, I mean, lead by examples here. One of the examples listed here, that would be that would kind of fit into the kind of characters ideals that I've already kind of set up. Yeah, let's do lead by example. Let's not spend too much time on that. I think lead by example works pretty well. So now I get a chance to spend I don't have any excess attribute points. I do have an extra in disciplines. I think I go, do I up engineering to 3 or do I get one of my others out of 1? I haven't really done anything with science, and I don't think that makes sense. I think I usually like to create characters with a pretty narrow focus that are exceptional at that one narrow focus, and then have some like obvious deficits at other things. So I'm going to go engineering. 5 in con, 3 in command and engineering, 1 in security, science, and medicine, 12 in control. I don't have any additional points. I don't think it's gonna, hang on, let's read the book to make sure I'm not finishing touches. A character may not have any attributes above 12 and can only have 1 at 12. Once this has been done, character may then increase 2 attributes by 1 each. Cool. Okay, so I didn't have any extras from like bumping control past 12 once it hit 12, but I can bump 1 for others. So I'm going to up presence, and I think I up daring. I think that makes the most sense with the character that I've created. So then at this stage, last chance to customize the character before play. Oh, I think this was when I was supposed to add the 2, but it's got it in there already, so I'm okay. Character may not have any disciplines above 5, may not have more than 1 at 5. For any discipline as a rating above and beyond, reduces for each point reduced on a discipline. Then once this has been done, the character may increase 2 disciplines by 1 each again. Wow. Okay, so I could get, this might be an opportunity for me to get these out of 1. I don't know if I want engineering or command to be necessarily higher than a 3. I think a 3 kind of fits the picture for what I've created here. So I think I'm gonna bump science. I guess that means I kind of have to bump security. I don't, not really. I mean, Or medicine has been, I haven't done any kind of medicine stuff. I'm going to go security. The one final value might reflect career events or may just represent some other element of the character. It could be a relationship. Ooh, this could be a way for me to like mechanize. I think this is where I put friends in high places. Because I think it's, to me, now my GM might help me shape this a little bit. To me, this means A, my character doesn't want to do anything to screw anything up because I have people watching me, including my parents. Just could be like people my parents know or work for. I haven't really fleshed out exactly who my parents are. I'll do that after the fact. But it also, I feel like it's also a way of like, if I needed something, I could potentially call in a favor and like act on that value. Let's just go with that. Might end up having to adjust before game actually starts. Ooh, I need to make a name. This is, I'm not going to bore y'all with a name. I'm going to go to fantasynamegenerators.com, obviously, and then assign the role. My role would be flight controller, probably. So not a typical senior staff role. Some captains, particularly those operating uncharted space, choose the most senior helmsman or flight control officer to serve as a senior staff as well. That's fine. I don't need to be senior staff. I'm just going to put Avery is my just general when I don't care about. I'm going to go lieutenant. High enough, but good. All right, so I've got my values. My places in the stars. I don't think this is that. Going by the book says lives, I like. Gonna get a maneuver named after me, I like. Friends in high places, I like. Like, all of these definitely define my character in some way. Looking back on it now, my places in the stars is literally not great, but maybe I can spin this into some kind of phobia being on planet. I don't know. Maybe I could even finagle it into where like he didn't go to academy on Earth. If there's like a version of the academy that can be done in space, in deep space, could finagle that to where like he just does not like being down the gravity well, or there's just something he doesn't like the open end view. He has this phobia of being in open air. Still not great, but kind of is where we're at. Okay, cool. I suppose. Hey, thanks for watching this. Like, I hope this was interesting. B, if you're, creating your own Star Trek Adventures character for the first time, I hope it was helpful to kind of hear me talk through my process. Hopefully, maybe you were working alongside me and able to create your own Star Trek Adventures character that you're excited about. I'm very excited to play for the first time. If you are also looking to get started playing Star Trek Adventures, and don't know where to find games, I have recently been, I've got a lot of free time on my hands, and I'm slowly but surely getting more comfortable playing in games online, and have found games really easily on startplaying.games. It's a website where people can go, professional DMs can go and list the games that they want to run, give you some basic information about the campaign, and pick a time, and then those DMs do get paid on a per session basis. So if you're not looking necessarily to spend money, start playing games might not be the best spot, but I've begun playing in one other different game campaign with a start playing games group. And there is something to be said for all the work and effort that DMs and GMs put into running games for strangers. I would never charge my friends to come and play Dungeons and Dragons or what have you with me. But if I'm going to be setting up and buying all this other material and creating a virtual tabletop and go through the process of setting up a campaign, I do think that GMs and DMs deserve to be compensated for their time when that's, one of their goals. So if that's something you're cool with and interested in, Start Playing Games has kind of become the default place. But I know that there are other, I think Roll20 has their own kind of looking for group forum for their virtual tabletop. There's the LFG subreddit where people post, but with all that stuff being so public, I find it's hard to get into a game unless you just happen to see the game post in the last 12 hours. And quality can be kind of hit and miss. You know, you never really know what you're getting into. With Start Playing Games, the GMs are all reviewed. You can see past players talk about how a GM played and behaved. And you can get a little glimpse of what the game might be before you actually sign up and have to pay any money. And you don't pay until you actually play in a session. So you should be able to go through character creation and learn more about the game before you actually get charged money. So if that is in your wheelhouse, inside what you can afford, Start Playing Games is awesome. This is not an ad, not sponsored, just I'm a fan of what they've created. And they've made a really good system there. So check it out if you're interested. Looking forward to hopefully being able to play in the Star Trek Adventures campaign soon with whoever this character's name is. I will, if you're interested, let me know, and maybe I'll come back at the end of the campaign, talk about my experience playing in an online game, what my character ended up actually being like, what the story was like, how we ended up. Would love to tell that tale. I'm hoping to get into Star Trek Adventures because I really enjoy Star Trek, but not comfortable enough right now running the game and don't have a ton of other people to run the game for me, or for me to run the game for in my life. And I am not yet comfortable enough to be one of those incredible paid professional DMs on Start Playing Games. So I'm gonna let other people do it for me right now. So hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning back into this channel after me being a long time away. Yeah, hope you have a great one. Peace.